Start your journey today by liking, subscribing, and sharing our YouTube channel, KnowledgeWell Media, or by going to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site and perusing over the available content and information. Also by submitting your email at the bottom of the Square site page in the Stay in the Loop section to receive priority information, specials, and other insider details. Or by signing up for a 1-hour consultation to tailor your specific educational needs in beginning your journey. You may do so at the aforementioned Square site, once again at knowledgewell-media.square.site. Here are a few other items in demand on our Square site. The Person Defined series, a 9-part video lecture series, comprehensively outlining the scheme to artfully deceive mankind into trading away his birthright, his natural liberties, and inherent rights. Pre-orders for The Yellow Bricks of Emerald, the first edition, offered presently as an ebook only. This book comprehensively uncovers the legal schemes, past, present, and future, of the elite powers and the U.S., subjecting American citizens to servitude and allegiance due to their own ignorance. The KnowledgeWell Video Lecture Series Trust Course, a comprehensive lecture series educating on the history, effects, and administration of the wealth-preserving, asset-protecting, private commercial entity known as a trust. Plus, we have our very own template and instructions to help you set up yours. And, coming soon, our apparel and product store for all things KnowledgeWell, including shirts, hats, jackets, cups, bumper stickers, and more. For all this and much, much more, as well as for any questions or comments, email to knowledgewell4u@gmail.com or go to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site. And now, you've been made free. What are you going to do with it?
my guy. All right, so someone asked if I could talk about the actual calendar and the real new year. So first, I'm going to start off by telling y'all that there are actually 13 months. And if you pay attention, all of it makes sense. Remember how I told y'all that us and nature are connected? We're all connected. This is what I mean by that. So actually listen to what I'm about to say. The moon cycles every 28 days. And if you pay attention, when a woman is pregnant, they only count her pregnancy every 28 days. And they count by 4 weeks. 4 weeks in this month, 4 weeks in that month. And that's why when you count the weeks, it go by 7, 14, 21, 28. And the reason why I say we actually have 13 months is because if we have 13 months instead of 12, each month will have 28 days. So not only do the moon have a 28-day cycle, but don't us women have a 28-day cycle when it comes to our period? Not only that, God calls the moon a her. So the moon itself is represented as a female. So you got the women's menstrual cycle that's every 28 days, just like the moon cycle is every 28 days. So the moon is represented as a she, and it has a 28-day cycle. Just like us, females, we have a 28-day cycle. Keep up. I'm trying to show you how we connected to nature. The only month that's actually truthful that we go by is February. That's the only month that actually has 28 days. All those other months, if all those months go to 28 days instead, it will make an extra month that will also have 28 days. So we will have 13 months that all have 28 days, which is actually for the missing month that we are supposed to have. April 1st, which is April Fool's, is symbolic to them fooling you into thinking that January 1st is the actual new year. But like I told y'all, we are connected to nature. Nature shows us that the real new year is in spring. Nature shows us that the real new year is when the earth starts to come alive again. The trees, the grass, and the flowers begin to blossom and grow back. Our energy is connected to nature. Our energy actually begins to shift with nature also. The new year is actually based off the seasons. And spring is the new season. January is not the new year. This is all some fake stuff that's going on, and they got y'all programmed. Like, for real, how could January be the new year and it ain't representing no change, no new life, no growth? We are connected to nature. No matter what y'all try to lie about, what lies they put into y'all, or what y'all don't want to believe in, no matter what you want to believe in, we connected to nature regardless of what y'all say. God created us. God created nature. We are supposed to align with each other. 13 months instead of 12 will be exactly 28 days in each month. The first will always be a Monday, and the 28th will always be a Sunday. Every month will have exactly 4 weeks, and we will properly align ourselves with the moon cycle. Moon cycle, 28 days. Menstrual cycle, 28 days. Days of the month, 28 days. September came from an old Roman word called septem, meaning 7, which was originally the 7th month. October came from the Latin and Greek word oct, meaning 8, which was originally the 8th month. November came from the Latin word novem, meaning 9, which was originally the 9th month. December came from the Latin word decem, meaning 10, which was originally the 10th month. So September is actually the 7th month. October is actually the 8th month. Why do you think they call it an octopus an octopus? Opt stands for 8. An octopus has 8 tentacles. They call it an octopus for a reason because it stands for 8 at the beginning. November is really the 9th month, and December is actually the 10th month. So for us to call September the 9th month, October the 10th month, and so on, that's a bold-faced lie because it's not true. What I'm trying to tell y'all is at the end of the day, nature tells us the real time. And God made us the way we are and made nature the way it is for a reason. And we supposed to properly align with nature. Y'all have to realize we didn't have clocks and stuff back then. We followed nature. Nature told us the time. And until this day, nature tells us the time. God made us the way we are for a reason, the same way he made nature the way it is for a reason. So like I always said, Romans 3 and 4, let God be the truth and every man a liar.
All right, all right. So hopefully you were able to, let me stop that one moment. Hold on. Let me stop that one moment. How's everybody doing? Welcome. Welcome. Today we are talking about the Art-IF-Icial. Obviously, we're open with that video there. I'm going to attempt to monitor myself. Everything's good. All right. Sound is crisp and clear. Thank you for being here. Happy, what is this? Time is flying. September the 29th. Wow. 2024. Hey, aren't we supposed to have like a new moon today? A second moon supposed to be joining us. I wonder what the rest of the day will be like. All right. No fear mongering here. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us. We also, let's see here. We should have our TikTok family joining us as well. Welcome to KnowledgeWell Media. Make sure that you come in hitting that thumbs up button. Let's see what happened to my TikTok feed. Let me get back on there before they kick me off. All right. Thank you for being here. Make sure that you are tapping that screen as you come on in. Welcome to KnowledgeWell Media. Happy Sunday, September the 29th, 2024. I want to say salutations to all the KnowledgeWell and KnowledgeWellians here. Let's give shout outs. Give me one moment here to get warmed up. Whew. One moment. I'll take that off. And we'll get going on our topic of Art-IF-Icial. First one in the building today. Let's see who it is. It's Heather Bell. Greetings and salutations to the family. Of course, we have BB Productions. Terry Camp is in the building. Thank you for being here, Terry. Says greetings to everyone. Who else is here? All right. Kenneth Ritter is in the building. Thank you for being here. And the whole family is given the 777s. Greatly appreciate that. All right. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your continual support. We have a great topic for you today. We opened up with a video from the young lady talking about the natural versus artificial and how the powers that be or were, whichever way you choose to look at it, have changed the times, the dates, the years, the months. Why? Why are they doing this is the question. So we'll go into that a little bit today, as well as discussing the artifice, the legal personalities, the artificial persons, and what have you. So strap in as we go in. Let me just put my brands out. One moment. So if you would like to donate to what it is that we do here at KnowledgeWell Media, you could do so
by using our Cash App, scrolling across the bottom of the screen, $ American Consulate. All right. We greatly appreciate any little or big thing that you do. Also, throughout the show, you'll see the KnowledgeWell for you at gmail.com for our email. We do consultations and have overall discussions about things that concern you and our economies and our families. We also have our Square site where you can pick up things like this wonderful 7/7 t-shirt. All right. KnowledgeWell in t-shirt. Great way to support through your finances and get something in return. So if you're interested, the KnowledgeWell Media Square site is the way to do it. All right. Let's see here. Please continue to tap that screen. Show your love over at TikTok. Let's set our goal for 5,000 hearts. Greatly appreciate it if you can help us get that or reach that. Also, we do have the Patreon where we dump over our private exclusive content that we do not necessarily put in the public for obvious reasons. If you're into that type of thing and you want to unearth those hidden things, esoteric things, visit us at our Patreon, become a member today. And as usual, what the things that are discussed here, the content and what have you, is not intended to be legal advice, nor should it be construed as such. If you need legal advice, please seek yourself a competent attorney, and please be advised. What else we got here? All right. So our topic today is artificial, or the artificial. As the young lady was saying, the dates, the times, and what have you have been changed. The question is why? Why the need to change what God has instituted? I want to take a look first off at both the etymology and the definition of the term artificial. All right, so we'll start there and we'll get the motor running. Let me take this banner down for you. All right. Let's go on over and consult our dictionary and our etymology dictionary as well. Let me see here. Give me one moment to pull it up. So I like to type in the legal definition prior to the term of, I got these earpieces in, they're kind of tugging on me, a little annoying. So on TikTok, if you'd like to see what it is that we are demonstrating on both the whiteboard and using the internet search, please go over to KnowledgeWell Media, YouTube, excuse me. All right. KnowledgeWell Media, YouTube. So the legal definition of artificial. I'll pull that up for you here. And share screen. All right. So the legal definition of artificial. Just as an overview, this is the AI overview. It says the legal definition of artificial has multiple meanings, including made by humans, something that is not natural and is created by humans, such as artificial accessions. Also, caused or produced by a human. Okay, this is artificial. Something that is caused or produced by a human, especially a social or political agency, such as an artificial price advantage. Also, look at this. Arising through operation of law. And since we're talking about artificial, you must know that we're talking about positive law, where artificial persons, juristic and juridical persons reside. Remember that? On TikTok, if you want to see what we are demonstrating on the whiteboard and what we're looking up on the internet, please go over to our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. All right, and welcome. Join us. All right, so again, artificial, arising through operation of law, and that is positive law, as opposed to and as distinguishable from natural law, which we call God's law. Okay, so something that arises through the operation of law. Check this out. We talked about this last week. Also, artificial person. What's an artificial person? It says it's a legal entity that is not a natural person, but is recognized or recognized by law as having certain rights, protections, privileges, responsibilities, and also, wouldn't you know it, liabilities. Examples of artificial persons include what? Corporations, partnerships, limited liability companies, LLCs, associations, look, trusts, and unincorporated organizations. These are all artificial persons. Today, our topic is the artificial. We started with a video of the young lady talking about how the governments and the powers that be have changed the times. How we started off naturally in accordance with what they call God's law with 28 days for each month, which would in turn create a 13th month. Okay? In other words, if we didn't have those extra 2 or 3 days of the month, all right, they would add up, those additional days would add up to a 13th month. All right. And she did a great job in going in on that explanation. The point is that anything that is man-made in opposition to and in contrast with the natural way, the natural order, man has come along and instituted what we call the New World Order. All right. Replacing, supplanting the old world. That's essentially what is happening. So everything is leading towards an artificial existence. All right. And we're moving at an alarming rate in that vein or on that vein. All right. Let's keep going. What about artificial intelligence? What is artificial intelligence? Listen, a machine-based system that can perform tasks under varying and unpredictable circumstances. All right. It can learn from experience and improve performance when exposed to data sets. Artificial intelligence or AI. That is what is upon us today. It is man-created, but the AI is machine-based. So remember the movie, The Terminator, right? All right. What was it called? Skynet? Isn't that funny how movies of old in the 80s and what have you are seemingly coming true today, where the fictional ideas or artificial constructs of the 70s and 80s are now applied, have been manifested in your reality today? Isn't that funny how that has happened? How about artificial condition? Lastly, a situation where something depends on a certain event happening or not happening. Okay, that's an artificial condition. That reminds me, take a look at this from the Black's Law Dictionary. In fact, I'm just going to grab the Black's Law and we'll look at it. We'll reference it. we're going to look at the term. One moment. We're going to look at the term. I'll use the document camera. Legal. And again, if you are on TikTok and you want to see what it is that we are demonstrating, please go over to our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. We're going to look at the definition of the legal term legal. And you see if you can correlate everything that I just mentioned or all the aforementioned. Okay? Please continue to tap that screen and help us get to our goal, our first goal of 5,000 hearts. I think I said 5,000. I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's pull up the document camera. Hopefully you can see. All right. Okay, I'm going to have to make that larger. One moment. All right. So we are at the Black's Law 5th edition, looking at the legal term legal. Let's go to church, shall we? All right. So hopefully you can see that. Try and get you in there. All right. Look it. I'm from the Midwest. Let me get something to point with. All right. This is the Black's Law 5th edition abridged. This is legal. Remember all the aforementioned, all the things I said before. Legal is conforming to the law. So you should be asking yourself a question. Which law are they referring to? Okay, well, it's legal. We'll answer that question shortly. According to law, required or permitted by law. So right off the jump, we can clearly see that legal is something separate and distinct from whatever this law is, because legal conforms to law, like a mask conforms to your face. But the mask is not your face, and your face is not the mask. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Moving on. Not forbidden or discountenanced by law. This is legal. Okay? It's not legal, is not forbidden or discountenanced by law. It is good and effectual. Look at the preposition here. In law. So legal is in law. Law is the big brother, if you will, and legal is the little brother. And so the big brother, law, says you can live here, you can exist. I'll permit you to exist. All right. Number 2, legal is proper or sufficient to be, recognized or recognized by the law. It recognizes it as being in existence. It has that ability, that power to do so. Okay? It is cognizable. This is legal. In the courts, meaning they can have jurisdiction or take jurisdiction. Right? Okay. It is competent or adequate to fulfill the requirements of the law. So you can clearly see that legal is not one and the same with law or lawful. Let's go on. It is cognizable in courts of law as distinguished from courts of equity. Construed or governed by the rules and principles of law. Let's go on. It is posited by the courts. Here's the key. It is posited by the courts as the inference or imputation of the law as a matter of construction, look at here, rather than established by actual proof. I'm going to get into that right there in a moment. And lastly, look at this. Number 5, legal is created by law. What? We are discussing artificial, man-made constructs, not natural. And as you see here, legal is something that is created by law. Something is made legal if it is permitted by law. Now, we are in the Black's Law Dictionary, and we are looking over the definition of the term legal. A man wrote these books that we are reading from, we are referencing. Man created governments. Therefore, man created laws. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? So, when man created these laws and these governments, they set in motion controls. And don't you know that every year, or more frequently, new laws are being added? New rights are being granted by the state. For example, 5 years ago, you could only go 55 miles per hour. Now you can go 65 miles per hour. That is how the legal constructs work. When the people vote and use what's called the democratic process, new laws happen. There's an evolution of freshly granted rights that did not exist 5 and 10 years ago. Okay? And so this is what it says here in the Black's Law definition of legal. That things that are legal are things that are created by the law. And the laws come by way of the government. And the government comes by way of the people. All of it is artificial, is what I'm saying. Not fictional. Let's look at the definition. Let's look at the definition of fictional real quick, because I do want to make the distinction between the two so that we are not confused. All right? There's a difference between artificial and fictional. Let's take a look. On TikTok, if you want to see what we are referencing, please go over to our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. All right. We greatly appreciate that. And keep tapping that screen. We are now at 3.4K. We need to get to 10 or 5,000. That's our first goal. So what's the definition of fictional? Fictional. These are important distinctions. You have to know this in order to be deemed legally competent. What is fiction or fictional? All right, going to the document camera. There we go. Black's Law 5th edition once again. Running out of space on my desk. First of all, what's a fiction of law? An assumption or supposition of law that something which is or may be false is true. Let me read that again. This is the definition of fiction of law. We're making the distinction between fictional and artificial. It's important to know the difference. So first off, what's a fiction of law? It's an assumption or supposition of law that something which is or may be false is true, or that a state of facts exists which has never really taken place. An assumption for purposes of justice. See? Of a fact that does not or may not exist. You know how they reconstruct the crime scene? Neither of the officers or investigators were actually present at the alleged crime, but they're able to reenact, create assumptions or suppositions for the purposes of justice. How you like me now? Look it. For the purposes of justice, of a fact that does not or may not exist. That's fictional. It does not really exist. It does not really exist. In contrast with that which is artificial, as in a corporation, as in a trust, as in a partnership, an unincorporated association. These are artificial in nature, but they exist. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? The legal term entity means what? A thing in existence. That is an artificial person, a legal or commercial entity, a thing in existence. But you see here in the Black's Law Dictionary, a thing that is fictional may or may not be in existence. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Let's keep going. On TikTok, make sure you're tapping that screen. We are almost to our first goal of 5,000. We are at 4.1K. Please tap that screen. Fiction of law, once again. An assumption for purposes of justice of a fact that does not or may not even exist. That's fictional. A rule of law which assumes as true and will not allow to be disproved something which is false, but not impossible. See legal fiction. What's fictitious? Founded on a fiction, having the character of a fiction. Pretend. You see? Counterfeit. Let's look at legal fiction lastly. We're talking about artificial today, and we're now making the distinction between what is fictional and what is artificial. An important distinction. Let's look at legal fiction. Here's legal fiction. Assumption of fact made by court as basis for deciding a legal question. Remember what they said about legal? Legal is permitted I just lost it. Hold on real quick, y'all. All right, we're back. Look, what they say about legal again? It is permitted by law. Let me put this up a little bit. So I could turn the page. I keep hitting everything. So legal conforms to law. It is what the courts are able to recognize. It is construed or governed by the rules and principles of law. It says that the courts use it. What? Legal. To do what? As an imputation or inference of law. Remember, they're trying to establish what we just saw here, a legal fiction. Why? Where was it at? There it is. Why? They need to form an assumption of fact. If they don't do this, how are they going to how are they going to be able to decide a legal question? In other words, they have to play make-believe. They have to reenact the crime scene, which neither, once again, of the investigators themselves were present for. So they have to play make-believe, like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, in order to answer a legal question that has been posed to the court. So they use legal fictions to do it. Going on. A situation, look, contrived by the law. To do what? To permit a court to dispose of a matter. It's a contrivance. Do you know what a contrivance is? Let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you how powerful this is. What's a contrivance? We are making the distinction between that which is artificial and that which is fictional. They are not one and the same. All right, let's take a look. If you want to see this on TikTok, you need to go over to my YouTube channel, which is KnowledgeWell Media YouTube. If you want to see what I'm pulling up. Legal definition of contrivance. You saw it in the Black's Law Dictionary, so let's look it up and see what they're meaning. What is this? Oh, let me pull up this screen. One moment. So many buttons to push. Yikes. Let's see. Here it is. I need a whole production team. Look what it says. Contrivance. A clever plan or trick. Anybody like to be tricked? A contrivance can be an elaborate or deceitful scheme to deceive or evade. A clever device or object. A contrivance can be a clever device or object that has been invented for a particular purpose. The act of contriving. A contrivance can also refer to the act of intentionally arranging for something to happen by clever planning. Are you picking up what we're putting down? All right, let's get back to our definition. This is what they are saying that a legal fiction is. Right here, a situation contrived, a clever plan put together to deceive or trick. Okay? It's done by the law, and the law permits the legal. Remember, a contrivance by the law to permit a court to dispose of a matter. In other words, the court would never be able to do this if they couldn't. They would never be able to dispose of a particular matter if they couldn't come up with a legal fiction or a contrivance, a clever plan or trick. They would never be able to dispose of a matter. Because why? Neither of the state actors were there. They must reenact the scene. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? All right, we have reached our first goal of 5.1K. I should have grabbed my glasses. Let's see if we can get to our next goal of 10,000. All right, so tap that screen. Reading on. Where are we at? Legal fiction. Here we are. Though it need not be created improperly. Okay. A situation contrived by the law to permit a court to dispose of a matter, though it need not be created improperly. For example, fiction of lost grant as basis for title by adverse possession. Fiction of lost grant as basis for title by adverse possession. Okay? So they create a scenario, right, in order to deal with a situation or dispose of a matter of adverse possession. It's a legal fiction. It's what the courts use in order to settle matters. Reenactments, again, of a crime scene or what have you. All right? All right, let's move forward. Remember now that fictions are separate and distinct from that which is artificial. Artificial, in contrast, include things like legal persons, artificial persons, corporations, and other legal or commercial entities. Okay? Entity suggests that it is a thing in existence. However, a fictional thing is not a thing in existence. It is made up. It is a contrivance, okay, for a particular purpose or reason. I wanted to go over, well, one more thing on the legal side, okay? I wanted to go over this number 4 definition of legal real quick and show you how substantial this is. Stay with me. How substantial, how this really works, what it's saying about what the courts are actually doing. So we're going to look up a couple terms here to really drive it home. Number 4, it says posited by the courts. Let's look at the legal definition of posited so we can get the full understanding and context of what the courts are actually doing. Posited. What's the legal definition of posited? This is what the courts do. To assume, remember they said legal assumptions, or affirm the existence of something, or to postulate. Okay? When you posit something, to believe something is true, or to even suggest that it is true. Okay? Let's see what else. To dispose or set firmly or fix. To assume or affirm the existence of. So this is what the courts do, it says once again. So they assume or affirm. This is what legal is, once again. assumed by the courts as the inference. Let's look at that term, inference, real fast. This is very vital and very important. Let's do this. In law, it says an inference is a logical rule that's used to interpret evidence during a trial. It's a process of reasoning from evidence to reach a conclusion that's considered to be true. It does not necessarily mean it is true. But as it's stated here, it is posited by the courts. It is postulated. It is just assumed that it is true. Let's go on. Inference. Inference is a rational conclusion. Preponderance of evidence is how the courts postulate things. Yep, thank you. Got my spectacles. I can see clearly now. Inference is a rational conclusion that has been, deduced or proved from the presented facts. That's why fact building is so important. Evidentiary hearings and what have you involving the legal system. That's why it's so important. They use the preponderance of evidence in order to reach a conclusion. This is how the system works, y'all. So once again, it states in Black's Law Dictionary under legal that legal is assumed by the courts, postulated by the courts as a rational conclusion or an inference or imputation of the law. And look what it states here. As a matter of construction. That's the context. That they literally have to construct these things, these legal fictions, building upon the facts, the affidavits that are surrendered to the court or filed with the court. They're building, like building blocks. All right. Moving on. It's a matter of construction, as in constructing a house, right? Starting with the foundation or the basement, then the foundation, the walls, the framing, rather than, see, this is construct. It's a construct rather than established by actual proof. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? That's how the law system works. TikTok, please continue to hit that screen. We're at 6.8. We're looking to reach 10K. All right. Greatly appreciate your support. All right. Now that we've got that clear, the topic of today is artifice or artificial, man-made. Man has changed the days, the times, the years, the seasons. The young lady said that April 1st, what we now know as April Fool's Day, is an intentional construct, a contrivance, a clever plan or trick. Fooled you, April Fool's Day. She said that is actually the beginning of the year, or, what she said, what did she say? The beginning of the year, the first of the year, et cetera, because they have changed the times and the days. In essence, adding more days to the month, where you have, instead of 28 days, you have 30 and 31. And she said that February is the only true month, with 28 days. And that if you took the balance of those extra days throughout the year, they would total to a whole new month. So you would essentially have 13 months as opposed to 12. They have changed the times and the days. The scripture even says that they would do that. Artificial. Artificial. As opposed to fictional. Remember, fictional is a thing that is not in existence, but artificial incorporates things like legal entities, and entity means a thing in existence. So artificial is not fictional. We must get that correct. Okay. Thank you. We're at 7.2. What time is it? We've been on for almost an hour. We're not going to be on much longer. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section over at KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel, TikTok. If you would like to participate and see the demonstrations on the whiteboard and the things that we pull up online, you would have to go over to the KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. All right. Please feel free to like and subscribe at your convenience. All right. Let's look at the comment section, see if anybody's talking to me. We're live here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Comment section. Joseph Henson says 777. Thank you for those 777s. I feel myself getting stronger. All right. Thank you for being here. All right. We got our TikTok family. All right. Awesome. So any questions? This is what we are dealing with. Okay. This is what we need to understand. Now, what I want to do is go to one of my favorite sites, which is Edamon Online, and I'm going to look at the term artificial. Okay. It's important to understand and understand where these terms derive from so that we can know what the original author of these terms had in mind. Okay. Go back to the basics. We're so far away from the basics, it's not even funny. And that's how the powers that be or were, are able to put together these contrivances, these plans, these tricks, right? To trick you out of your estates, to trick you out of your property, your assets, trick you out of your wealth, trick you out of your legacy. That's how it happens. My people are destroyed for what they do not know or the lack of knowledge. All right? That's how the game is played. Now, you don't have to be a sucker. You don't have to be. It's your choice. And that's the way that these elites look at it. You have a right to sit at the table, but you must play the game properly. You must learn the game and the rules to the game. You must learn the policies and the procedures, and then you must apply. Demonstrate that you are legally competent and you can have a seat at the table. That's the way that the game works here in this capitalist system known as the United States. That's where you live. All right. Let's look at artificial real quick. Share screen. Here we go. Artificial. It's an adjective, so therefore it's a descriptor. It says late 14th century. Artificial is not natural or spontaneous. This is artificial. From Old French artificial, from Latin artificialis, of or belonging to what? Art. Of or belonging to art. Jeffrey Plume, thank you for being here. Cleo, thank you for being here. Make sure that you're tapping that screen. Help us get to our goal of 10K hearts. Greatly appreciate it. If you want to see the demonstration, the things that I'm reading from, please go over to our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. Thank you for being here. Live, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Artificial, belonging to art. This is from the 14th century, y'all. This is not new. Art from Art-IF-Icial. Check it out, y'all. A work of art. This is artificial. All right. Look, skill, theory, legal theory. This is artificial. Look, system. The legal system. These are artificial in nature. From artifacts, genitive, artifices. Look at y'all. Craftsman. Remember, artificial is not natural. It is not spontaneous, naturally occurring. It is a contrivance, a plan, a trick of man, of humans, a system. It is man's craftiness. You're going to see where I'm going here in short order. Craftsmanship, y'all. Made by the hands of men. Legal persons, commercial persons, artificial persons, corporations, partnerships. Look, artificial. An artist. A master of an art. Music, acting, as in acting in a capacity, as in being a state actor, a politician. The world, as it said, is a stage. These politicians are merely acting in their capacity, in their role, in accordance to the script. They are merely making men in their image and in their likeness, as we covered last week, I believe it was. They are sculpting. Huh? You ever see somebody sculpt something out of clay? They are bringing it into existence. Therefore, it becomes a type of entity. It's an artificial entity as opposed to a fictional entity. That sculpture actually comes into existence, not fictional. Moving on. From stem of, look, ours. Art. Maker. Let us make man in our image. And we contend here that that scripture was talking about the construct of men, the artificial things that are created and brought into existence by men, not some etheric, supernatural happening. It is a contrivance of men. Always has been, always will be. Including AI. Let's see. Anything else from here? I think we're good. Artificially, there's the adverb, by art or human skill and contrivance, including your system, your legal systems, everything, the artificial persons. All right, now let's bring it home. Let's look at where we're at. Let's look at I think it's Genesis. What is it? I think it's chapter 3. We're going to look at the King James Version. If I can find it here. Oh, come on. Just give me the King James Version. There we go. Check this out. Oh, I got to share it. Genesis chapter 3, starting at verse 1. Look what it says here. I'll blow it up for you so you can see it. If you are watching this on TikTok, or if you are present on TikTok, you can see what I'm pulling up if you go over to our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. KnowledgeWell is one word, media, YouTube channel. All right. And then you can see what we're pulling up. We are live here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Oh, come on. Zoom out a little bit. All right. What does that have to say? Get out of the way. It says, now the serpent. This is Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. And remember, we're talking about artificial, and we've made the distinction between that which is artificial and that which is fictional. They are not one and the same thing. Artificial is a thing or a thing that is in existence or an entity, and the fictional is a thing that is not in existence. Okay? It says, now the serpent, talking about the beast system, was more subtle than any beast of the field, okay, which the Lord God had made. Now, what we're going to focus on is this term here. Now, I want you to remember everything that we talked about concerning that which is fictional and that which is artificial. Remember the terminologies they used, okay? And now look at the word subtle. What does subtle mean? Let's look at it. Let me do this. And then we're going to be getting off of here in short order. We're not going to prolong the day for you. What does subtle mean? Hopefully it'll pull up. All right. Let me share screen. There we go. What does subtle mean? Now, this is the 13th, circa 1300, 13th century, mid-13th century. Comes from the term sotil, meaning penetrating, ingenious, refined, connoting the mind, sophisticated, intricate, abstruse, okay, adept, adroit. Here's the term, cunning, wise, detailed. Look at this one, well crafted. Now, didn't they just use the same terminology when we looked at, let's see, artificial, was it? Look at craftsman, artist, more importantly, not natural or spontaneous, artful, skillful. Now watch this. This is what they're saying when they wrote about this particular system, this particular serpent, that this particular beast system is more subtle, more crafty, artistic than any other system. Okay? That's what this beast is, a particular system. Notice they also said and used the term system under artificial because it is a thing that is brought into existence. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Man has put these things into position. Man has constructed these things. These are legal contrivances. We have instituted government, and the governments institute laws. And then those laws permit other legalities. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? All right, we're going to take a short break. I'm going to get a drink of water, and then we'll be back. All right, stay right where you are.
Start your journey today by liking, subscribing, and sharing our YouTube channel, KnowledgeWell Media, or by going to our Square site at knowledgewell.com. knowledgewell-media.square.site and perusing over the available content and information. Also by submitting your email at the bottom of the Square site page in the Stay in the Loop section to receive priority information, specials, and other insider details. Or by signing up for a 1-hour consultation to tailor your specific educational needs in beginning your journey. You may do so at the aforementioned Square site, once again at knowledgewell-media.square.site. Here are a few other items in demand on our Square site. The Person Defined series, a 9-part video lecture series, comprehensively outlining the scheme to artfully deceive mankind into trading away his birthright, his natural liberties, and inherent rights. Pre-orders for The Yellow Bricks of Emerald, the first edition, offered presently as an ebook only. This book comprehensively uncovers the legal schemes, past, present, and future, of the elite powers and the U.S., subjecting American citizens to servitude and allegiance due to their own ignorance. The KnowledgeWell Video Lecture Series Trust Course, a comprehensive lecture series educating on the history, effects, and administration of the wealth-preserving, asset-protecting, private commercial entity known as a trust. Plus, we have our very own template and instructions to help you set up yours. And, coming soon, our apparel and product store for all things KnowledgeWell, including shirts, hats, jackets, cups, bumper stickers, and more. For all this and much, much more, as well as for any questions or comments, email to knowledgewell4u@gmail.com or go to our Square site at knowledgewell-media.square.site. And now, you've been made free. What are you going to do with it?
All right, and we are back. All right, so what say you? Is this good information? Knowing the difference between the artificial and the fictional is very key and very important. Myself, I have made arguments in courts about the system being fictional and what have you. I've heard other people make those arguments as well. They really don't get any traction because you got to remember that the judge, him or herself, is acting in a particular legal role, a mask of state. You know, they're wearing the uniform of state, the robe, you know, they're acting in their role, their position. So to say that the system, on behalf of who they are acting, is fictional is to say it does not exist. So that judge is never going to acknowledge your argument on the basis that the system is fictional. Therefore, you know, I'm a natural man, so therefore it doesn't apply to me. That will never, you'll never win that, because that would be basically making his or her position irrelevant by saying this system doesn't even exist. Therefore, you mean nothing to me, judge. You know, what capacity are you acting in? It means nothing. It's fictional. No, it's not. But however, it is artificial. Okay, that's the distinction, and that's what we need to know. All right. Let me look at the comment section, see if anybody is talking to me. Otherwise, we're going to get off. Okay, so thank you. Yes, Joseph, we have reached our 10K goal on TikTok. Thank you all for your assistance. Janine, thank you for being here. Rose on TikTok, thank you for being here. You can always join us over at our KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. KnowledgeWell is one word, and media. If you would like to participate and see the demonstrations and things live. All right, but we should be starting our panel on TikTok now that we have, I believe, gone live 3 times for a certain, I think 30 minutes or more, or 90 minutes or something like that. So we'll find out in short order. I believe we have made that. Okay. So we are live here Sunday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We really appreciate you all for being here. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Otherwise, we are to have our follow-up meeting at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be ending our series, which we call the Elite Com. We're discussing establishing our estates, establishing and building trusts, preserving wealth, asset protection, all right, mitigating those tax liabilities and what have you, using legalities, all right, legal and commercial entities. There is a way to play this game, and if you don't know the rules and the policies and the proper way to play this game, then you will lose at this game. You will perpetuate poverty in your family line. If you want to know and get the proper education concerning these issues, then you should get a consultation with us here at KnowledgeWell Media. You can do so by using our email, which is KnowledgeWell, the number 4, the letter U, at gmail.com. All right. Somebody can put that in the comment section over at our TikTok, and our KnowledgeWell Media members. I'm sure you have access to that already. So I want to say thank you all for your support today and for joining us and for helping us obtain these goals. Mike, Fred, thank you for being here. Fox, thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. And we'll see you next Sunday, if not sooner, at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, right here at KnowledgeWell Media YouTube channel. All right. Thank you all. Make it a great day, and peace.